Mayor Woodfin shows up emphatically saying crime is not up around the East Precinct in the area they're looking to put this building. Your reaction to that?
You say he shows up?
Yeah.
Shows up where?
Here.
He was just here.
Okay.
And he apparently spoke briefly with Commissioner Stevens.
Okay.
And he also had stats that he said too that the crime was not.
Okay.
So you got a bit of a reaction that you...
My reaction is that the public knows. If you live in East Birmingham, all of us are fully aware that crime is not only up, but what was being approved today was an infrastructure a grant, and all it was to be able to have victims of violent crime that is solely run and managed by the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. That was what the grant was to support. And so how it got to be about we don't have crime versus those who live in the area, we know that there's a high level of crime. We all understand. And hopefully this will not become a political pawn, for lack of better words, at the safety and at the expense of more residents having to encounter such crime.
I think as elected officials, it's always important that I share factual information, especially as it relates to what's happening in the city limits of Birmingham. The only conversation around crime, I want to make this clear. One homicide is too many. One rape, one robbery is too many. But we have to share factual information as it relates to crime trends. And as it relates to East Precinct, which has been a topic of conversation today, where the city wasn't included, crime is not increasing and crime is not the same. Year to date, as late as yesterday, February 3rd, 2020, crime has seen a drastic decrease around the same time, February 3rd of 2019, in the entire year of 2019 versus 2018. And so the officers out in East Precinct, where it's not just the beat officers, but we have narcotics units out there and other units out there who are doing sting operations. Crime continues to decrease out in East.
You flat out said there's no need for a substation to be at this location.
Well, for two reasons. The conversation of substation came up 2 years ago when I was mayor, and we explored it because we wanted to make sure if we could do it, we would do it. But if it didn't make sense to do it, we weren't going to do it. This substation that was requested was in close proximity of an actual East Precinct station. And so it doesn't make sense to put a substation literally in proximity, probably max 3 miles to an East Precinct. The other thing is there is no increase in crime or crime remaining the same in this area.
We need to make sure that everyone is pulling from the same page. We want to make sure that it's against the pattern and practice of past behavior to place a substation within a large municipality. There's a reason why people who live in a municipality pay additional taxes. Is for that additional police protection and those additional services. The Jefferson County Sheriff is taxed with applying those services to the extent we can in unincorporated Jefferson County and offering backup to the municipalities. There's no provisions at all to be primary in a municipality unless there's a contract.
Okay, gotcha. All right, that's all. This is a meeting place for crime victims to go and meet, being prepped for court, talk about their issues. Right. And that's the main focus. Is that acceptable, or what is your reaction to that?
I think the truth is that conversation it has shifted to talking about victims. This conversation started with a substation based on where crime was, which turned out not to be true. So I think some people are moving the goalposts. Let's not necessarily include victims if they weren't a part of the conversation, just because people couldn't get what they wanted. I don't think that's right, and I think that's politicizing the issues of crime, especially victims of crime.
Is this being offered as a political issue?
Absolutely.
Where that we always go to the default of being able to say something is political when you're dealing with the citizenry. The citizens are the reason why we're here. If we forget about the people who got us elected into office and we start playing games with people's lives, You know, it was just last year, just as I mentioned in the commission meeting, that we had someone that was shooting not only on the interstate, getting off of Parkway East, but anywhere along that corridor. And for months, a lot of us were in fear. And it was all because we didn't know who was shooting at people randomly who were just simply driving, whether home or to work, whatever the case may be. And now we have a school that has not been on lockdown not once but twice. We understand the need. And all that we're saying is that we're here to help. We're not here to criticize. We're not here to be adversarial. We as citizens, and I as a commissioner, am willing to partner with every city, just as I've done with Fairfield and other cities, to make sure that we have adequate police protection in place.